Hey there, this is David Claydon of KZR Racing once again, and coming up to the end of the F1 summer break, I thought it would be a good idea to talk about an ongoing issue that has returned to annoy many F1 fans once again, and that particular issue is Ferrari. Now, in all honesty, I was tempted to just write copy-paste 2018 and call it a day, but truth be told, the shambles that Ferrari has become has been going on since the 2017 season, and has become a repeated theme from every season since then. This season though, the memes and general Ferrari banter has been even more than normal, partly because unlike 2017 and 18 where they were facing a bulletproof Mercedes, Red Bull haven't been quite as solid on the reliability front, and Ferrari haven't been able to take advantage of that. But also Ferrari making strategy calls that just end up making everyone facepalm in embarrassment. The season had initially started well for Ferrari, with Leclerc taking pole and leading home a Ferrari 1-2, with Hamilton third after a Red Bull double retirement at Bahrain. Leclerc and Sainz would score a double podium with Verstappen winning in Saudi Arabia. Then in Australia it would be mixed fortunes for Ferrari, with Leclerc dominating the race but Sainz spinning out after lap 10. The next race at Imola would see more issues, with Sainz DNFing on lap 1 following issues in qualifying, seeing him start in the midfield, and Leclerc spinning out from third on lap 53 at Variante Alta and finishing 9th, with Red Bull finishing 1-2, Verstappen winning. At Miami they did get another double podium, but again Max got the win. It was at Spain, however, when things started to go properly downhill for Ferrari. Leclerc would retire on lap 27 with a suspected turbo failure, and Sainz finished 4th after spinning out at turn 4, and Red Bull, shockingly, got a 1-2 with Max winning. Charles would lead Ferrari 1-2 in qualifying at Monaco, however, Ferrari's strategy ended up throwing away that 1-2, with Leclerc finishing 4th behind Perez, Sainz and Verstappen. But that's okay, because at Baku it would only get even worse. Sainz retired on lap 9 with hydraulic failure, then Leclerc retired on lap 20 when his power unit, came over all Italian. Red Bull scored yet another 1-2. Canada, Leclerc started at the back of the grid and finished 5th with Sainz 2nd, and of course Verstappen 1st. At Silverstone, the season could have swung Ferrari's way, but it was another case of what if. Max picked up a puncture and subsequent floor damage that would see him finish 7th just ahead of Schumacher in the Haas, while Ferrari, who could have had an easy 1-2, during a late safety car period for whatever reason, left Charles out on the hard tyres and only pitted Carlos onto the softs to cover off Perez and Hamilton. Needless to say, all three overtook Charles pretty easily, dropping him to 4th, with Sainz getting a long overdue deserved first win. At Austria, Leclerc would finally get his 3rd win of the season, but again it was a struggle as Ferrari reliability intervened. Leclerc had to manage a sticky throttle pedal towards the end of the race, and it would have been a Ferrari 1-2 had it not been Sainz's engine's turn to be Italian. In France, Leclerc had built up a reasonable lead over Verstappen when, on lap 17, his throttle pedal decided it wasn't done with him from Austria, and Charles ended up losing control and causing him to crash out. Sainz could have had a podium, but again Ferrari's strategy meant he only finished 5th, with Verstappen winning ahead of the two Mercs completing the podium. Finally, in Hungary, Ferrari's strategy was the talk of the day again. They saw how badly the Alpines performed on the hard tyres and thought, what a great idea, let's do that, and proceeded to put Leclerc on the hard tyres on lap 40, only to pit him again 8 laps later and ended up finishing 6th, with the top 3 being the same as it was in France. Oh, Ferrari. As a result of all of this, Leclerc is now 80 points behind Verstappen and only 5 ahead of Perez in the Drivers' Championship, but more worryingly in the Constructors, Ferrari are 97 points behind Red Bull and only just 30 ahead of Mercedes. A Mercedes team who were nowhere at the start of the season, but from Azerbaijan onwards have become a massive problem to Ferrari's challenge to Red Bull by being the one thing Ferrari isn't: consistent. From Baku to Hungary, Mercedes have managed to get at least one driver on the podium, Lewis being on the podium from Canada to Hungary with the last 2 races, both him and George getting on the podium together, and George himself has finished every race but one this season in the top 5. Ferrari, in contrast with Baku to Hungary, have had 3 podiums, 2 of which were wins, but 4 DNFs. With only 9 races to go in the season, Ferrari have no choice but to hit the ground running at Spa, Leclerc winning as many races as possible with Sainz as the perfect rear gunner, and most importantly, the Ferrari pit will need to stop playing strategy lucky dip and hoping for the best. Yes, Ferrari is a major part of F1, they're the biggest team with the most titles and heritage and the biggest budget, but it all means nothing if they keep making errors that a team of that stature should not be making constantly. It is another sad story of Ferrari as a whole making its season more difficult than it needs to be. Honestly, when you hear people talk about Ferrari's glory years in 1997 to 2004, you can't help but think, well, why don't they do that? Back then, Luca de Montezemolo hired Jean Todt in 1993, and he brought over Ross Brawn as technical director, Rory Byrne and John Barnard as chief designers, and Nigel Stepney as the chief mechanic of the pit crew. Ferrari had British brains running the team, because 7 out of the 10 F1 teams are based in the UK, and if there's one thing we are good at, it's building racing cars. The problem is that the current structure at Ferrari is so prideful that it has to be an all-Italian effort. It won't allow that and is ultimately hurting them in the long run. But that is just my opinion. What do you all think? Feel free to leave a comment below and get a discussion going. That is what this general series is all about. Thank you all for watching and or listening. Please like, share and subscribe to the video. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss any. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Links will be in the description. Enjoy the rest of the day and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.